Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to interactive Sukhmani Sahib Ji session. My screen has turned. I'm seeing some technical issue with my sharing on the screen. So I think I'll take a minute, and I don't know what has happened here. So I think you can stop recording, Dev for a minute. I have to take care of my screen has gone
frozen,
dark, and frozen from some places.
Yeah, but like we can see the screen.
Yeah, but I cannot see the text. It has just gone dark here. So I have to see what to do about it. Maybe enter in display settings.
Okay, I'm going to pause it in the meantime.
You should stop that. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to interactive Sukhmani Sahib Ji session. Before we start, we continue from Ashpadi 22. 22 Ashpadis we completed so far, so we'll start with Ashpadi 23 today. So before we do that, I'm going to recite some of the sloks from previous Ashpadis. Satnam Shri Vaheguru Sahib Ji Adi Gure Namahe Jugad Gure Namahe Sat Gure Namahe Shri Guru Dev Namahe Karan Karan Prabh Ek Hai दूसर नाही कोय नानक तिस बलहारण जल थल महियल सोए साथ ना चाले बिन भजन बिख्या सगली छार हर हर नाम कमावना नानक एहो तन सार सरगुण निर्गुण निरंकार सुन समाधि आपने किया नानका आपे ही फिर जाप जी जंत के ठाकरा आपे वर्तन हार नानक एको पसरया दूजा कहे दृष्टार. So we have completed 22 Ashpatis. So we'll start 23rd. We'll start with a shlok in 23rd Ashpadi. Let me recite the shlok and then we'll continue the discussion. Slok Gyan Anjan Gur Diya Agyan Andher Binas Har Kirpate Sant Petya Nanak man pargas. So in this Ashpadi, if we look at just the meanings, the literal meanings of the sloka, it says Gyan Anjan Gur Diya Agyan Andher Binas. Gyan Anjan. You know that ointment, the Anjan is the that kajal you put in your eyes. It is that kajal of the Gyan. It's this healing ointment. It's actually saying that's what it is, right? That black thing. It's actually trying to say that it has given something in your eyes that you can see better. You're able to see more, realize more, right? That's Gyan Anjan. Oh, Gyan da surma akhaich padita. That knowledge. Kisne padita? Who has put that? A gur diya. And that's whole emphasis. Somebody who's already spiritually enlightened, that being has given that ointment in your eyes to be able to see the spirituality, to understand that wisdom. What happened? Gyan Anjan Gurdiya, Agyan Andher Binas. That ignorance, that spiritual ignorance, that blindness which was inside us, that andher, the darkness of that spiritual ignorance which was there, binas, destroyed. It's completely gone because of that knowledge, that spiritual wisdom which Guru has given. So all are very important here, right? Har kirpate sant petya nanak man pargas. So it's repeated again and again in Gurbani. Har kirpate sant petya. By that kirpa of that one and only divine, that existence of that Hari, that God, Akal Purakh Vaheguru, because of his blessing, he has made us to meet Sant, right? Sant Petya. He has made us to meet the Sant. Meet, and that's very important. Oi kirpata oi hogi na Hari di, that he has given us this Gurbani. He has made us to have birth in that kind of family, or whatever. By our birth, we have access to that Satguru, we have access to that Gurbani. It says, by the kirpa of that, Har kirpa te hi sant petya. You come in connection with a holy person, or you come in connection with a saint, you come in connection with the Bani, anything which is trying to enlighten your mind to the reality of the spiritual, the truth of that wisdom. It says, Har kirpa te sant petya Nanak man pargas. And then, O Nanak, my mind has been enlightened. Ite pargash jira hoya, prakash jira hoya, that's what has happened because of that. So all these are factors which are very important, right? Spiritual wisdom through Guru, the knowledge, that knowledge has to be understood by the mind for the mind to be enlightened. We are bound by those, right? We have this mind, we have this body. So let's go over with Ashtapadi now. Ashtapadi Sant Sang Antar Prabhati Tha Naam Prabhu Ka Laga Mitha. I think I'm not sharing. I'm just going to start to do that.
Alina ji, we cannot see the screen of GD.
I'll share that.
Oh, much better. Thank you.
We just did the shlok so far. So we were doing the shlok. Gyan Anjan Gurdiya, Agyan Andhir Pinas, Har Kirpate Sant Petya, Nanak Man Pragas. So that's what we were talking about. I'm going to get my annotation and spotlight here. And we're going to do the Ashtapadi now. So let me recite the Ashtapadi. Ashtapadi Sant Sang Antar Prabhati Tha Naam Prabhu Ka Laga Mitha Sagal Samagri Ekas Kath Mahe Anik Rang Nana Drishta Hai Naunid Amrit Prabh Ka Naam Dehi Mein Iska Bisram Sun Samad Anhat Tehinad Kahin Na Jai Acharaj Bismad Din Dekhya Jis Aap Dikhaye Nanak Tis Jan Soji Paye. So in the Ashtapadi, it's again the emphasis of the Sant, the society of the saints. Sant Sang Antar Prabdita Naam Prabhu Ka Laga Mitha. It says, through that Sant, through that holy people, I am able to see that relies my inner self. I can see inside me existence. I can feel, I can realize. I've seen, Dita is I've seen, Dekh liya Prabhu, that one being I've seen inside me. Deep within my being, in the society of saints, I've seen that God. And now, Naam Prabhu Ka Laga Mitha. And I find the name of that God. It seems so sweet to me now. Sagal samagri ekas katmahe anik rang nana drishthai. So he's again talking about that one divine is Sagal Samagri. What else? After realizing that one and only within, I have also realized this, that whole Samagri, that all the things, everything in this universe, Sagal Samagri Ekas Kat, they are all contained in that heart of that one divine. It all belongs to him in the other, if you want to say it a different way, right? All of that belongs to him. Ode kat vich ekas kat mahe, that one divine in at the center, at the core of it. I can realize all of that belongs to him. Anik rang nana drishthai. Is although anik rang, there are so many different hues and colors. You know, nana is many kinds, so many, right? Variety. Drishthai, they are seen. To be seen is so many different, various colors. But I've realized that all of that is all contained within that one. They're all connected. That's the realization. They all belong to him. Right? Naunit Amrit Prabh ka naam, Dehi mein iska bisram. You know, that Naunid comes, the 9 treasures in this universe for this body, for this living, which includes the wealth, which includes even the poetries and the arts and the rags and the music and abundance of wealth and abundance of different kinds of foods. It says that 9 treasures, Naunit Amrit Prabh ka naam, in that naam of the God, that ambrosial nectar, that ambrosial naam, that 9 treasures are in that naam. In a way, it's trying to tell you, in this universe, this we are formed in this human form which we have. There's supposed to be right. There's all this goodness. There's supposed to be the experiences, which right, which we are entitled to. And it's saying, you know, all of that is all under that one and only God. Once you connect and you are with him, when you realize with that, then all of these 9 treasures, they are part of that naam itself. That sukh, that bliss, anything which can have you reach to that state that you don't need anymore, and you can remain in that bliss of that connection. Everything else just comes to you, right? Dehi mein iska bisram. He says, Naunit Amrit Prabh ka naam, Dehi mein iska bisram. The emphasis, the literal meaning is that inside this human body, this resides. Iska bisram, it's residing. There's a place of rest for it inside the human body. And whole Gurbani really emphasize how important is getting this human form. And I have almost every such in Deh Kodi Char Har Paya. There's so many of those about this day, this kaya under Guru's Bani, Pakta's Bani, all Pagat Bani. They all kaya under, you know, right? Jo Brahmande Soi Pinde, Kaya Pinde Dehi, you know, a lot of those virtues, but says it's in you. Sun Samad Anhat Tehenad, Kehen na Jai Achrat Bismad. What else is in that place which I found? Right? It says, which I've found inside me after I've gotten that knowledge, that Gyan Anjan, after having that enlightenment in my mind. It says, Sun Samad Anhat Tehnad. I can even experience that state of that Sun Samadhi in one of the Ashpadis. We discussed what is that state of Sun Samadhi, of that one existence when there was nothing else, right? The deepest of that Samadhi. Plus, Anhat Tainad, that Sun Samadhi is there. And that, Anhad Nad, that Nad, that sound current, which is without striking, Anhat. nad. It's more of related to the spiritual knowledge. It's not one frequency of T or te or high frequency low. It's not saying it's a there's a beauty on it. It becomes very musical. That's why music is also very considered very divine, right? In not talking about the real classical music, even like I think in Western, right, the concerts and all, they call them so divine, right? The music itself has a connection to it. The sun samad anhat teh nad, that unstruck sound current of nad, that music of the nature you can hear there. That's a part of that bliss. It says, you know, and how Guru Nanak describes this also. Yeah, Gavan tunno pavan pani besantar. Right? He says one, and then he says, "Kete gavan hare, kete vavan hare." But it is those gavanhares and vavanhares are for those are the complex, very high quality, fine music for different experiences, which can lead you. It's all about a sound. It's about what the sound mantras, right? Which can lead you to different experiences done the right way, right? So that is what it says. Unstruck sound current of nad is also there. Kehen na jai achraj pismat. This is, what can I say? Kehen I cannot say. Kehen na jai. I'm not able to describe. Say it. Achraj pismat. It's so wonderful. It's so wondrous. Achraj. That bismad itself, that bliss itself, I can just marvel at it. Right? Tin dekhya jis aap dikhaye, Nanak tis jan sochi paye. Says then, he says, those have experienced to whom he has made them to experience. Jis aap dikhai, dikha ditta jisnu ape. And then he says, Nanak tis jan sochi paye. And those such humble beings, they understand. They understand that wisdom. It says that gyan also. So we'll move forward. So antar so bahar anant, कट कट व्याप रहा भगवंत, तरन माहे आकाश पयाल, सर्ब लोक पूरन प्रतपाल, बन तिन पर्वत है पार ब्रह्म, जैसी आज्ञा तैसा कर्म, पौन पानी बैसंतर माहे, चार कुंठ दह दिसे समाहे, तिसते पिन नहीं को ठाओ, गुर प्रसाद नानक सुख पाओ. He's describing further on the same concept. So antar, so bahar anant. This is all the realization of after that knowledge, right? Which after that knowledge from the Guru, after having that company of a sant, of the holy. So jo antar, so bahar anant. Antar is inside, bahar, anant is beyond, infinite. That infinite God is inside and outside. So that one which is outside, he is inside too. Kat kat pyap reha bhagwant. Again, kat kat. In each kat kat, they say every heart. You can say at every place also. It is in each and every heart. Vyap, he's residing, he's pervading. Reha Bhagavant, that Bhagwan, that God, is pervading in each and every heart. Taran Mahe Akas Payal. He is in Taran, Tarti, Mahi, in the Taran, in Akas, in the sky, Pyal, Patal. And science is discovering Patal also. So he says he's in Tarti Akash Patal. Sarab Lok Puran Pratpal. This is all the worlds that one complete being is there, and he is Pratpal. He's sustaining, he's taking care of them. He's the perfect cherisher. He's with full ownership taking care of them. He's a perfect cherisher. Puran Pratpal. Bantin Parbat hai Par Brahm. This is in the forests, in the thin ugde hai fields, mountains. You can find him. Hai Par Brahm, that beyond, that supreme Brahm. Pare to, Brahm to pare. Right? That Par Brahm is there. Jaisi Agya Taisa Karam. Again, as he's ordering, so is what's happening. Taisa Karam. Those are the actions which are happening. There's one thought, but I'll save it. Paun pani besantar mahe, char kunt deh dise samahe. Nature, nature, nature. It's all talking about the nature. Paun, in the winds, in the water. Besantar. He's there. Char kunt deh dise samahe. In all char kunt, the four direction, deh dise, in the four corners, you say, deh this also is the 10 directions. He's there, he's pervading there. Deh this is very simple meanings. It's the four sides, the up, down, and the four corners, right? All of them. 10, it makes 10. Like in a room, we have four sides, we have four corners, we have up and down. So that becomes 10 directions. There's no more than 10 directions, right? Those are all the directions. Or north, south, east, west, and in between. And up, down. Tiste pin nahi ko uthao. That's the essence of it. Tiste pin, beyond you. Alag pin, alag. Tere to alag. There's no place without you. Without that God, there's no other place. Gur Prasad, Nanak, Sukh Pao. Through Guru's grace, all this wisdom is obtained. And then one resides in peace. The peace is obtained. There's so much emphasis here about the nature, where all he is in the nature. And there's so many enlightened masters. Most of their writings also persuade a human is to be more with nature. The more you are, santsang, that's the fastest. The fastest is with the santsang. Because you are yourself a human, you have that alike thing which can make you realize much faster. You see a person already at that state. In the company of that, you become like those, right? Then also the nature is already in the command. It's always working in. So you realize that one divine more, that mind accepts more of that being, that one divine being existence through nature, by observing nature. Then it becomes, sometimes it looks like a miracle itself. When you look at how nature operates, so there's so much of the emphasis of all of that. And then there's also, Gurbani specifically says, human is different, right? But if human operates similar to how nature operates in the command, je bujliya hukam, and starts operating, then he's being with everything else. Then all is bliss, right? So,
Leena Penji?
Hanji.
Hanji, sat shri akal. Jara pichla siga na, utte ek wari fir jao. Can you explain the Akas likhya se ki likhya sega? Thoda detail che. Next page.
Akas Payal. Okay.
How do you, वो तो मैंने reference नहीं समझ आया. That's so. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ, is it from some Vedic something? Is it, you know, ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਦਾ?
No, these are very simple. Taran is tarti, akas is sky, payal is patal. That's all. The underworld, so in all old scriptures.
ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਵਾਰੀ ਜੀ, ਆਕਾਸ਼ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ?
Payal is patal. Sorry, all religions have underground world. Patal da ta har religion which likhya hoya, science nahi hale nahi kadya, but they are every possible religion, all Egyptian, the oldest, the Rome Egyptian, Payal ta, everybody has the examples of that, is underworld. Some of them
ਕੋਈ hell kya lo ja?
No. Payal, sometimes Patal is translated to, it says the underworld also. Some of the Bible's translation. Hanji, I'm telling.
Aquaman, you know, underwater.
I'm telling. Yes, I'm telling. So logically, and then the way people have translated the Bible, some of the translations have also, Patal, they try to relate it to hell. Underworld is related to hell, but not really. In some of the old grunts, Patal is another lok, like that whole, from the previous civilizations, the Ravana, right? There's that grunts, and even some Egyptians old grunts, they have a reference to a whole world, which is underworld. It can be underwater, under earth, but there is a acceptance of existence of that world. And in all the, and maybe it got destroyed in this yug, whatever, but all of them have reference of that. Not even just in India, Indian grunts, but everybody has a reference to it. And then in modern times, some of them try to relate it to, in some religions, they relate it to a goodness, but they also relate it to more of the demons and the those kind of people, they come from Patal. But in some scriptures, there's a goodness to it too. A lot of people who used to protect the enlightened beings and all of those the devs and angels were also from the Patal. Those reptile, like किन्ने तुसी पुराने thousands of years पहले दी pictures देखोगे ना, वो सारियां दे ऊपर वो नाग या कुछ ऐਵੇਂ बने हुंदे हैं ना, they are all representing the underworld existence who used to come and protect those whatever was in those civilizations. So that's the paribhasha of Payal.
ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜ਼ੂਮ ਤੇ, ਇਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਨਸੈਪਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਪਤਾਲ ਦਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਦਿਸ ਰਿਹਾ. I mean, I'm thinking, is it only the bad is there, or
yeah, no, it's translated in some, basically because the I think some of the Western have translated it as bad, but it's not related to always bad. A lot of great Purane bahut there's a lot of names in the old grunts of the great enlightened creatures from Patal. The Ahiravan was from Patal.
ਮੈਂ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਸ਼ਪਤੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, this is completely in line that 6 are environmentalists, 6 are for nature, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਇਹੋ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੈ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ?
So Bani is very logical, very modern, and very realistic, right? It's there is whatever it is there is with the great proof, right? There's no myths. They don't talk about those things, right? And yeah, you're right. So we did the second Ashpadi, right? Pon Pani Basantar Mai, that's what you're saying, all of that. So Bani persuades a lot in all our 5 Banis also. Guru Nanak, he tries to persuade all the human beings to go be with nature and realize that one from the nature. It's all about realizing that one, and there's a lot of indication in the Bani to realize that one divine through nature. Ved Puran Simrit Meh Dekh, ससीर सूर नखत्तर में एक, बाणी प्रभ की सबको बोले, आप अडोल न कबहू डोले, सर्ब कला कर खेले खेल, मोल न पाइए गुणे अमोल, सर्ब जोत में जाकी जोत, तार रहे हो स्वामी ओत पोत, गुर प्रसाद परम का नास, नानक तिन में एहो बिसास. So again, here it's just trying to tell us to see that one divine, to realize. It says, Ved Puran Simrit Meh Dekh. In the Vedas, Puranas, Simritis, see that one divine. Sasir Sur Nekhatir Mein Ek. In that moon, the sun, the stars, all that different. He is the one. Again, he's trying to tell you, don't get too much involved into what's written into it. Try to understand that there's that one power and one divine behind all of this. Try to connect to that source, is that again and again that reminder. His Bani Prabh ki sabko bola, aap adol na kabhu dole. Says all of these things which are there, which are created by that divine, right? That Bani Prabh ki, all of them are speaking, sabko bola, they are speaking his words only. It's him there. See those words. Aap adol na kabhu dole. He says, but that's all his creation. That's all what is created. Because he made it happen, so he is there. Realize him in there. He says, but he himself is adol. He himself is unwavering. He never, kabhu dole, na kabhu dole. He never wavers. So Sadhguru is telling you, yes, in all of these things you will realize him, but that is the nature of that divine. Sarab kala kar khela khel, mol na paye gune amol. Now it goes beyond our understanding, but it's not about, Bani is not about understanding. Bani is about realizing. It's not about whys. It's about is. Do we know what is? It's not about why is. तो Guru Granth Sahib which कह देता why था तो समझ ही नहीं आना. Based on the state you keep going up and up, there'll be a different kind of whys. It says Sarab kala kar khela khel. It says with that power, that extreme absolute power, kar khela khel, there's all this plays happening. That's how we can see it. Mol na paye gune amol. We cannot understand the value, we cannot estimate the value of, and we cannot estimate even what is the gun, what is the virtue, why is all of this? His virtues are invaluable. And this comes when we start relating to, Gurbani says, within this, try to realize yourself, try to realize your existence, try to realize existence around you, but still, Gurbani says they had been, Kedena api ekankar kar lende, api, he himself destroys everything. And it says many times he has done it. Yes, we can understand, we can realize this, but that whys of why that happened, because if you look at all of this, almost in every civilization, they reached to the extreme of it, that they could do the extreme with the science of it, with the geography of it and all, and then they all crashed. And then it all started from scratch. And then there's a little indications in every next civilization from the previous one. And they get to that level, and then they again collapse, right? What?
Leena Penji.
That's what's called the khela khel, right?
एक और example होएगा कि ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਾਰੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ they're born they live, they die. So ajada sada universe kalo, it has been created, it has collapsed, it has expanded, collapsed. Right, Iftar saying? Many times.
Hanji. And
yeah, that's only a speculative alternative model to Big Bang, the cyclic model. And this guy, Roger Penrose, who got the Nobel Prize in physics this year, he has that cyclic model. But he's the only one mainstream science does not accept.
Lena Peggia tangent ਏਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿ if it was only created once, we would only have hydrogen and helium. We would not get any heavier elements, right, Iftar? You have to create, you have to have a star die in order to get higher elements with weight and with the neutrons and protons. मैं तो वकील है जी, पर मैंने इन्ना याद है अपना physics का.
Yeah, those are said, but you can explain about 1/3 of the mainstream science does not believe in this Big Bang model. 1/3, 2/3 believe in it. And actually, the main universe observations can be explained with a static. Einstein believed in a static eternal universe, no cycle. That's Einstein. So, but these alternative models are there. 2/3 of the mainstream science believe in it, 1/3 does not. So in my view, and I don't believe in cyclic either, because you can explain all the observations with without cycles. In cycle, actually, whenever the time,
Paul?
No, I think it's just listening. It's perfectly fine. But Thaji, if Babaji Bani is saying it is cyclic, many times Bani hai, many times it's going to vanish. So I think looking at Babaji Bani, which we all have, the faith and trust in it. So I think beyond the science and technology, we have to accept कि जो Babaji सन दस रह गया कि that must be ultimate.
बानी लिखा है कई बार पसरे पसार, कई बार पसरे पसार.
बिल्कुल, exactly. That's my thinking. जी.
So Lena Penji, मैं एक और connection पाना चाहता सी. So फिर तुसी कैसे हो गया फिर जरा rebirth दा karma दा गल है ना उत्थे आ जांदी है ना, right?
See, we are talking two different things. There's a human,
Hanji.
And there's stars. There's a lot of time, space. You know how big is the time for a star and a human,
Hanji.
right? And then there's, if you relate all of them, they all go through the same cycle. The human goes through the same cycle, but a star which we are looking at, how far away it is, how many light years away is it? That light which is coming from that star, try to understand when we are in connection to looking at star, where we are looking at how much of the future, where is that light coming from? Kere time to aa rahi hai? Try to calculate that, right? So I think it's just, for us, what's more important as human is to understand if we can realize our own existence, which is very important, our own birth and our own death. The rest of that becomes clear. Rest of that, anyway, it says Jo Brahmanda Soi Pinda. In the realm of spirituality, logically, I know, there, like Avtaji said, there's many different school of thoughts, and then there are many different proofs to contradict them, right? Each school of thoughts, but for us, what's important, what Guru Nanak is saying is, look at, so for your mind, what is a miracle for a mind which it doesn't understand? He says, you already look at it, so many things which is beyond understanding of your mind. Right? So,
Bani, in Bani, it's very clearly written that the whole purpose of Guru Bani is to take you beyond the cycle of birth and death.
Right.
And in fact, all the Mahapurush, the reason we respect them because they are beyond birth and death. They are Amar, they are eternal. Ek Onkar is eternal, Sachkhand is eternal. So even light, we talk about light coming from stars. If Einstein's theory says that for light, at speed of light, there is no distance. Space and time do not exist. If you were a photon of light in the universe, there is no time, there is no space. So all this janam, maran, birth, death, distance, utte, thalle, akash, patal, all this gets wiped out in the ultimate stage of enlightenment, becoming light. That is becoming light. Light. If you ask a photon of light, have you seen time? It will say no. Have you seen any cyclic universe? It will say no. And 99.9% of the universe is light. All of that will tell you there is no time.
Yeah.
And Bonnie says that whole purpose of it to get beyond life and death, of cycle of life and death. So if that's a reality, how can Bonnie take you out of it? So long as our mind believes and is stagnant in life and death and time, it will project its own reality on universe and will make it cyclic. Now we are projecting our mind on the reality and we are not experiencing the reality as is.
And ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਲੀਨਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਪਰਹੀਰੋ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਜਾਂ ਮੂਵੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, you could be thinking you're watching the movie, or you could be in the movie and you don't know it's a movie. So ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਸ਼ਪਤੀ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਨਾ, ਇੱਥੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਨਾ, ਖੇਲ ਦਾ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਖੇਲ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. So I think what, ਹਾਂਜੀ, go ahead.
So I just gonna add to Avtarji's comment. So some of the souls, energy that we have been lucky to meet, or blessed to meet. So those who have gone on the other side and come back with Babaji's grace, so they exactly the same thing. When they're there, there is no time. Time does not exist on the other side. It is only a manifestation on this side, but not on the other side. Therefore, a billion years is just like nothing. You cannot even say it's a second because there's no time. It'd be a wrong statement. So, I think the deeper we're gonna get in, we're gonna get lost. So it's like, okay, Malik, let's not go too deep because deep you know, Baba ji Bani aap keh rahi bhai jisnu wo leke jayega, jisnu usne bua kholna hai, jisnu darshan karne kara dega. So
you know what Gurbani is actually saying is, as a human, all this should be very simple for you. In a way, Gurbani is saying, as a human, any of these which you call questions about whatever is existing and all, there should already be answers. And as a human, you have access to all of that answer and knowledge. If it's relevant or not, it doesn't matter. That's one thing that Gurbani is saying, and that's how those Satgurus were much above than us. Their knowledge was, they were it, but they were even beyond it. They are just showing us that if they can be, then we can also be. These are not the things which cannot be solved. You know, if you are able, and slowly they are getting solved also, and they are certain, you know, just like there's certain who see it earlier and they solve it in certain way, right? Or through that light, right? There's so many other discoveries happen. There's a next generation of discoveries which will happen. They will come through sound, right? There's these days, all of these things have been realized, slowly getting realized, slowly, where all humanity comes up, right? So slowly they will start realizing, no, you know, now all this, every Granth is talking more about these mantras, this like we call it Bani. This is such a treasure we have as six, and people have mantras and all, but there is something related to that sound, because there are pictures and proofs of what used to happen in the other civilizations. So that humanity is what Gurbani is saying, that go solve it. All you have access to all of it. You are beyond it. All this is like in other way, it's trying to tell you, figure out what is such and not such. And in a way, it's also telling you that in the world you are living, everything is abundance to you. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, right? This is the latest text we have from that, right? The written text, right? So it's a history thing. He used to do jado yudh karde hunde sige, and the way he used to do the kaman, you know, the ਤੀਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੱਡਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਓਕਲਟ ਪਾਵਰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ। ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਧਨਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖਣੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਓ। There's a science and sadhana to it, and those who realize, they understand it, and when the whole humanity realize, they start inventing more things. That's what happens, right? So all this related to this, so Gurbani is beyond that, and that's why those are Satgurus, those are enlightened beings, right? They are way above those what is happening in universe, and they tell within this universe what happens, and beyond that universe what happens, right? And that's their levels of different enlightened beings, their levels too, right?
Hardev Singh ne kuch keh rahe hain?
You know what else can be said? Hanji,
Hardev Singh sun rahe hain, dasso Hardev Singh, apne khayal?
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, I'm listening.
ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਖਿਆਲ?
You know, I'm more of a listener than a talker.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਬਸ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਠੀਕ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਲੀਨਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਨਾ ਲੋਕੀ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਫਾਇਰ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਬਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ, ਪਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਹਿਊਮਨ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਫਿਰ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਆ ਗਈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਆਪੇ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਹਦੀ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅੱਜ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁੱਕਰਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ੂਮ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੀ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਣਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਕਿੱਲਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕਰਨਾ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ?
That's the value which is beyond, that value which Satgurus bring with their presence to make you realize what you can do. You know, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਮੁਰਾਦਾਂ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ, ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ? You realize yourself, because they are the realized beings, right? And if you want to do so, and you create more, you become more creative, because what is a God? What is the God? ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ God ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, what is he doing? He's creating every moment. It's a creativity, that newness, that godliness, right? That Naam is in awareness. And what is happening with that? What is happening in this universe, which is supposed to be Taramkhand? It's a beautiful thing, right? It says human body, human existence, life. I should say life is the best word. Life is such a beautiful thing. We don't realize it. Okay, we live like that. We don't know that we don't live that life.
ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਜੋੜ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਫਿਰ, ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ ਦੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਨਾ। ਹਾਂਜੀ,
that's very right, and that's where everywhere I think that bin gun kitte pagat na hoye, that virtuous knowing what is the right thing, right? The gratitude, the helping others, all that is needed. That's why Bani is so many of pages, right? So that's a realization. Hanji, I'll move on unless there's any more comments.
Yeah, Bani, which it's very clearly said ki waqat bichare subanda hoye. it says means the purpose of being human is to reveal time. What is time? वक्त ਨੂੰ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ, ਜੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ, you have to understand what time is. And also Bonnie clearly says the whole purpose is to resolve time, birth and death. So, but these interpretations of have to be, oh, they don't come out in all these pravachans. The literal translations, tell time is reality, cycles are reality, janam maran is reality. But Vani is saying you have to get beyond it. The purpose is to unravel what time is, which is an illusion. Einstein says it's an illusion. But je usse illusion ch banda rave and can't come out of it.
So if there weer ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਿਕਲ ਆਏਗਾ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਤੇ ਪਾਉ ਦੱਸੋ ਫਿਰ ਇਹੋ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿ what's the purpose of human life, and purpose is to improve yourself, get out of karma and rejoin the light. नहीं?
Timelessness.
हाँ जी.
Light is timelessness.
हाँ जी, मतलब to rejoin the light, rejoin the Almighty कह लो, ਇਹ heaven ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚੀਅਨ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਆਂਢੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ yeah, we have a heaven. The heaven is rejoining the light, rejoining the Almighty. ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ. ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਕ੍ਰਿਸਮਸ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ, ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਨਰ ਤੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਸੋਮਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ, ਇਹੋ ਗੱਲ ਫੇਰ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ do you believe Jesus saved you? No. Is Jesus God? Yes. So is Allah, and so is Waheguru, so is Ram. They're all God. They're all names of God. ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਆੜੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ we're sinners and we were saved and ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, okay, that's your belief. But
lot of what
he does not have that. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਦੱਸੋ.
Somebody was commenting there with them. ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕੁਝ. ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਇਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਲਾਹ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ, ਫਿਰ ਇਹੋ ਜਵਾਬ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਨਾ, ਚੰਗਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਹੈਗਾ we don't have original sin, it's because of some good that we have the human birth now, and we're supposed to do good, be good, to rejoin and get out of this death cycle.
What happens is, if you go to the essence of what is even written in Bible, or what anytime Jesus says, that's different. ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਸੰਤ ਜਨਾ ਕੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਸਭ ਧਰਮ, a second line ਹੈ ਨਾ, that ਧਰਮ, all religions, all dharam, the essence of it is always the same. ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਤੱਤ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, right? If there is a word called sin in Christianity, or if there's a word called Jesus saved it, they are also right. But the thing is, what is a sin? Sin, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਰਮਾ, ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, even if you come to this birth, that's the main idea is, if you come to this birth, which is to be really thankful of that kirpanal, you come to this birth, and again you do things not in alignment with that oneness, that becomes a sin. Because it's sin, then it becomes a karma. Any kisi nu maarna hi sin ho gaya. That's it becomes obstacles to your enlightenment. And most of the religions, they understand that that's what this birth is for, but then they call it differently. That is for your soul to merge with Jesus. There's this heaven, there's that heaven, there's that heaven, right? But they all have the same purpose. So let's maybe take some more. Hanji.
Leena, I know that next week you will be not around, not coming to join. If I can check with one of the gentlemen who has had the experience of going the other side to the no time spot. And that's more like apologies and other questions to be answered. I can check with them, and then maybe we can bring him as a guest speaker for to cover during our. Although we'd love to have your presence, maybe we'll do it when you're also around. This we can all have the right inputs from different points of view. That would be better. And thodi gal ji santan di hai, mahapurushah di hai, oh khali aande hi isi baat hai, just to hold our hand to take us to the other spectrum. For I think maybe you want to expand a little bit on the word did about Bani Kandi. Gyan, Dhyan, Kuch Karam Na Jana, Saad Na Jana Teri, Sabte Vadda, Satguru Nanak, Jiska Rakhi Meri. So in that context, as Bhavi Kari, Karma the Pulja, Jo, forget all the deeds and everything else. Sharan Aja Malik Di, only he can protect you. Otherwise, Lagya Renga, Pul Jayanga, the Phas Jayanga. Effort Jalega, ki there's no way of coming out. Maybe Leena ji, you want to expand on that and help us a little bit.
I have a question. जब सुखमनी साहब का विचार खत्म हो जाएगा उस तो बाद कंटिन्यू कोई और पाठ आएगा कि बंद हो जाएगा?
I think we were just discussing in the beginning of the session.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah.
Hanji, no, Devji, you want to?
Yeah, we discussed about it. Harindraji, we will be moving on to Reras.
Very good. Excellent. Same time. Same time.
It'll be the same time. Ji.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Yeah, we thought we can take the nickname Banis, we can take Reras, then we can do Chepodi of Anand Sahib and Japti Sahib. Mostly everybody has at least heard and all. We'll get to that too. But we'll, do that.
So Rera Sahib hoega. Rera Sahib shuru kar deenge.
Hanji.
Yeah, and Leena ji, I think you mentioned also Ki Baba Ida, Arohida Waganda. Maybe you can also just expand on that too on a weekly basis. Should you go in a more deeper depth besides Bani Jai Kar Rahe Ho? That may be continuation.
It brings a good variety because that clarifies a lot of Harmandir Sahib da jada walk us din aaye na, or us hafte I can just pick any relevant walk from Harmandir Sahib ji and talk about that.
That would be
Because
fantastic.
I think that mostly the thing is there shouldn't be a confusion between कि यही करना है, right? Like you were saying, ज्ञान ध्यान कुछ कर्म ना जाना सार ना जाना तेरी. It's saying कि मैं नहीं जानदा, but it's also emphasizing कि मैं जानना मेरा path है. It should be my interest. वही जानना मेरा interest होना चाहिए. But he says मैं कोशिश करके हार गया. But it's also saying that नहीं जानदा, but these are important things जानन वास्ते, right? But their emphasis is that you want to come in sharan of somebody who is janda, right? That's right. Satguru Nanak, these things are not to be realized until somebody tells you, right? And if we go over this Ashpadi, right, that's what the Guru Nanak emphasizes on, and that's what's the value of these beings who come to earth. And it's not easy because there is so much resistance for it, because every time any of these beings come, there's an upliftment of the humanity, right, from the current level. फिर वो ताई फिर कुर्बानियां भी हो जांदियां, you know, all of these religious masters and spiritual masters, right, to bring all of them to the next level. It needs a lot of effort on the worldly form too, not just Taram is important too, to keep it maintained, right? So, and being in connection to these beings is also important. First of all, being aware that there's something beyond what we can do is the whole thing.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ, ਕ੍ਰਿਸਮਸ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ, ਉਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਨਵਰੀ ਚ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਫਿਰ?
So next week I'm not here, but I'm here 25th and 1st. So we can do the session on 25th or 1st, unless there are a lot of people who are not here.
I would like to have on the 1st, start the year with this discussions. I think that'll be a good idea.
Agreed. What better thing than to start the Bhavaji Bani on the 1st of the year, you know.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਦੋ ਅਸ਼ਪਤੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ?
What we can do is on 25th, are we keeping it? If we are keeping on the 25th, then we can even complete it on 1st, because 25th, we have the next one, right? So we'll be we'll be on 24th Ashpadi on the 1st. So we'll start the last Ashpadi on 1st.
Just a quick question. Sukhmani Sahib, puri session khatam hone wala hai. What is the conclusion? Should we go with the literal translation? Whose interpretation we have to follow? That's a confusion now. Everybody has their own interpretation of good Bani, And so which one we have to follow is the confusion, you know, what to do about it.
See, the main learning from the Sukhmani Sahib Ji Bani is, first of all, having that your own inner knowledge, right? That keeps coming. Oh, vaddi rendi hai. You have to keep hearing what everybody tells. And then that conclusion comes to you eventually. And that's why you read Bani again and again. What you should learn from this, that at least you understand the literal meanings of what you are reading when you're doing that meaning, when you're reading that Bani. Do you understand those literal meanings? Because the rest of the interpretation and what message that one divine wants to bring to you will keep coming. And then you become firm on it. Right? Or literal translations तो बहुत important है ये. जो literal translation पहले नहीं आएगी, the connecting the whole message together comes after that.
हाँ जी, तो ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੀ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੀ translation, ਤੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਇਹੋ ਬੈਸਟ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜੋ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਸਮਝੋ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ translations are not actually very good.
Yeah, literal translation je Punjabi di pad sakde ho, that's a good one, line to line. There's a lot of differences in Professor Sahib Singh ji also, but you can do if you can do Punjabi. If you have to read English translation, then this Sant Singh Khalsa ji is the most closest one. But after going through the vichar and all, you know also where to interpret what. Yeah, what happens if you go to the sites, you can click on the word and you can get the meanings of it. That helps you too. So,
what about Leena ji? Excuse me. What about Bhai Manmohan Singh's translation? ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਟੀਕ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੇ 8 ਕਾਪੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ, ਸਾਈਡ ਬਾਈ ਸਾਈਡ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ. And they also postscript all the words and they tell you what it means in both English and Gurbani, in English and Gurmukhi. How have you read or have you seen that? And in your opinion, because that is published by SGPC. So I thought, yeah.
It's available on the internet also to see. Yeah. You can every line you can click and you can see Manmohan Singh ji translation, Sant Singh Khalsa ji translation, and Freethcourt Steek also.
Right.
So I'm just saying, pick any of those. Jithe thoda tanu lage ki maybe this is what it doesn't mean, go click on that word and see what actually means and try to have a different opinion. That's okay. But starting with any of those, don't start with the ones which do a lot of, which are very good, like Sant Kripal Singh ji di. It's a really great translation, but वो बहुत expand कर देती है. Go for what is just doing line by line, so it helps you. Later on, you can do the one which is ज़्यादा explain भी कर दिया. एक line नु 2-4 बार explain कितना. Go by that, but first pick up that which is smaller. That's the key. So you can get through it, because once you pick up one which is smaller, then all the messages you can relate. फिर वो अपने आप समझ आ जाती है. So that also is a good one if it has all Punjabi and English. मैं छपी हुई नहीं देखी, मैं इंटरनेट पे देखी हुई है only English one. मनमोहन
नहीं, तो अमृतसर तो मिल जाती है. I have all the 8 sticks and I normally read it from that, so that's why I asked you. Yeah, now SGPC they published that, so that's why I thought it to be a little more authentic.
So,
although
ਤੁਸੀਂ K ਸਿੰਘ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮਿਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੀਰ ਪਾਲ ਆ ਨਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਨੰਸੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਵੀ ਬੜਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ੂਮ ਕਾਲ ਤੇ,
ਜੀ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਤਾਬ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣਾ.
I think it's a combination of various things. ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ ਮਾਲਕ ਦੀ ਰਹਿਮਤ ਨਾਲ ਬੰਦਾ ਲੈ ਲੈ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, that's good enough. Like Leena ji said, ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ wherever the inner calling is, it'll pull you there, you know. So there's no right or wrong. ਤਦੇ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਸ਼ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ to help connect us all, you know, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਲੈ ਜਾਣਾ.
ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਜੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਵੀ ਜਪ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ. ਸੋ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਲੀਨਾ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ?
Zarur. Any contemplation of Bani when you're doing with that frame of acceptance is Naam Japna itself. that's what happens. Ik mein kehna siga, if you really want the oldest one which is available, Freethcourt Steak, if you want ki pehle us zamaane ch ki message dinde hunde si ye padh ke, what do the people on those times, what would they interpret? They had so much acceptance of this, and they would interpret it even a little differently. Or Freethcourt Steak, that is also available on the internet. You can look at that also. वो थोड़ी भाषा different हो जाती है, but it's still Punjabi. It's written in Punjabi. You'll get it.
कदों publish होया सी फरीदकोट टी का पंज? You have an idea?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, publish, yeah. Otherwise, whenever in
When it was initially
written.
written, hanji. I think I had that here somewhere. Yeah, it was even before. It was in the 1800s or so, I believe. So let me see, or was it even before that?
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. So ਅਗਲੇ weekend ਛੁੱਟੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ 25 ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਜੀ.
No, we will try to find somebody to cover up on the 18th.
ਅੱਛਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ
Paul is going to look into that.
Yeah, I will check if the gentleman has availability, and then maybe you can bring him in as a guest speaker, just talk about space and time, because he was been lucky and blessed to have gone and experienced that. Somebody with a real life experience, so we can kind of start to bring in additional souls, because at the end of the day, it's all journey connecting the dots. Whoever is lucky and blessed to be, they will come. It's simple.
So are we meeting next week or not on 18th?
I'll confirm. Let me talk to him. If he's available, then we will do that. Why not?
Okay, ji, thank you.
Yeah, I will let you know. I'll send the notification accordingly.
ठीक है, कोई हाल नहीं. No problem.
Okay ji. Sure. Bye.
ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ, ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha ji. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye, God bless you.
Bye.
Thank you ji.